Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Block Party. Welcome to Block Party number 148. Yeah, we've been doing this for over 3 years now. We took a little break for several weeks because we were traveling to Palenque and Texas and just got super busy with a bunch of stuff. So it's really good to be back with you all. And so in the present segment, we're talking about food healers and Homo Ahimsa. And I was starting to share my perspectives, which is that Homo Ahimsa is we're transitioning and evolving to a whole new species. And one of the ways I like to think about Homo Ahimsa, the new species, is to think about an ant colony, right? Where take like a leafcutter colony of ants in South America. The leafcutters, there's all these different functions within the leafcutter ant colony, and there's such an interdependence that a single ant is not a viable species on their own, right? There's like 7 different, castes, if you will, of ants within the leafcutter ant colony. No one ant from any of those castes could possibly make it on their own. It requires all these different castes and interdependence. And so by contrast, humanity in the modern world with capitalism has become very individualistic. I would say hyper individualistic. And the core of our current societies around the world is based on individual hoarding and accumulation. And I believe that those two things, hyper individualism and hoarding and accumulation, and in particular capitalism, are destroying our planet. I think that's well established. And so I believe what is urgently needed, is that humanity transition to Homo Ahimsa, to this highly interdependent state. And I believe that food healers can be like a catalyst, and that we can actually form kind of like a seed crystal at our food healers / Homo Ahimsa events that can then grow, right? As kids, we would, in science class or lab or whatever, there'd be like a whole, would have like a pot of sugar water, and then put a string in there, and then these crystals of sugar would grow around the string. And so I think of food healers events ideally as this sort of seed crystal where we can come together, the volunteers, the vegan grandmothers, and set an intention and bring a spirit to it and bless the events, and even have smudging. And here's where I really defer to the grandmothers who've been doing this for years, that we create a spirit and culture and feeling for the events that is absolutely wonderful, and that draws people in and makes it very easy for people to get into the spirit and the flow and the dance, if you will, right, of preparing food, serving food, eating the food, and that we can even bring in, music and dance and displays and hands-on things that people can do, like even sort of like a setup that we do with gardening, and so that people can get their hands in the soil if they want to. Bring in our Heart Gardens, per Shannon up there in Kamloops, British Columbia, who does our Heart Gardens here every Tuesday, right here in this Zoom room, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So basically bring in all these beautiful elements and create not just Homo Ahimsa, but a heaven on earth based on Homo Ahimsa and food healers. So that even someone just walking down the street, smoking a cigarette, who's never heard of food healers or Homo Ahimsa or even veganism, can walk by and, hear the music, see the dance, smell the food, and just be like, and just feel it and feel that there's something absolutely amazing there and be welcomed in, just as we welcomed in Sister Suzanne, and then come and partake and learn more and ask questions, say, well, what's this all about? Right. And have such a wonderful, loving, welcoming, warm community that they say, my goodness, where have you been all my life? Right. You wonderful Homo Ahimsa food healers, vegan grandmothers, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, I just wanted to give that inspiration. And with that, I pass the feather and love to hear from everyone. So jump in anytime.
Hi there. I think I might have missed it, but did you share the beautiful summary of Austin?
No. That comes up next in the agenda.
Fantastic.
That's going to be from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So starting in 45 minutes,
Fantastic.
we'll
Thank
give
you.
a nice 2-hour summary. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Jamin,
Yes.
to respond to what you're saying, let's see, it's, you said like a broader, ahimsa broader than veganism, because veganism is kind to all beings, animals, which we are, but you're right, it doesn't include rocks and trees and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And I love being in touch with the spirituality that I hear and feel with people, but also I know that there are many vegans who shy away from the word spirituality, or, and so in terms of an event opening or having some spirituality, you have it as part of something, or uh, an opening and closing and just let it be. I don't know. How do you do that? How do you be inclusive and loving? And I that's part of spirituality, whether you call it that or not. So if one just said opening words to an event, yeah, okay. Thanks for letting me put that in there.
Yeah. No, and this is all an inquiry. I don't think I don't have any answers, right? Just inspiration and ideas and willingness to jump in and talk about all this. Abuela, hermana Adriana.
Thank you so much, beautiful relatives. And I totally believe that it shouldn't, like feel like separating, like you're spiritual, you're not spiritual. And if we use gratitude as a spiritual way to embrace our food, because as somebody, Tammy was saying, having the privilege of having a food plate in front of us, it's already being aware of what a privilege it is to be alive, to have food in front of us, and just being grateful. And maybe you call it a blessing in your food, but if not, just be grateful and elevate your thoughts, your heart to life and to our Mother Earth and to our human family. That is the message of our elders. Aho. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, I really been finding, especially the last like 8 months or so, it's been really obvious to me that just taking some time every day to just be grateful for whatever is around you. You can just sit there and just look around for a few minutes and see what you have more than other people do in the world, even if you're at the lowest economic end, like in the United States, you're still doing better than most people in most countries. So a little bit of gratitude goes a long way towards making the rest of your life peaceful.
And beautiful, Marco. And speaking of gratitude, I'm so grateful that our brother Silas and his cat have just joined us. Silas, we've been having a really cool meeting up until now. And with you here,
With you here,
It's
now
It's
perfect.
perfect.
and Silas, you're on perfect timing for the last 20 minutes. We've been talking about food healers meets Homo Ahimsa. And what is that? And what does that mean? So among other beautiful updates, we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So Silas, please take it away. Tell us what's new and good in your beautiful vegan world.
Yeah, speaking of Homo Ahimsa, there is the Homo Ahimsa Award nominations are out, and for 2023. And if you're on the mailing list, she's looking for votes. So you have all the votes will be compiled by April 23rd, and then they're going to announce it during the convergence. In fact, I think it's right after your talk, Jamin, on Homo Ahimsa.
Oh, beautiful.
Homo Ahimsa Awards will be announced. It's like the Oscars, right?
Awesome.
Jamin,
Yeah,
may I build on Adriana and Marco just around gratitude?
absolutely.
So good morning. I just kind of reveling in this circle that we are creating, this virtual circle, because as you might have noticed, I'm walking around my backyard, my neighborhood, which is mostly the blue sky and the water, but also my little community here in Sausalito, California. And I just want to say that anytime I can walk out and be connected to the sea and the sky and the cosmos, it doesn't matter what the weather is, it doesn't matter what the temperature is, it doesn't really matter if I'm hungry or thirsty. Although I did make a cup of tea, that's one of my practices that allows me to find a meditative, connective space, is holding just a cup of tea and realizing that if I'm in a meeting or in a very challenging work situation and I have that cup of tea nearby, it's not just my gratitude and connection to the cup of tea. It is a reminder of how easy it is to find anything, like you were saying, Marco, and you, Adriana, in terms of like blessing and appreciating the most simple herb in a cup of water, and knowing that that can make everything fine in the moment and get you to the next connection, whether it's uncomfortable or comfortable. So I'm grateful that I could be in this circle, because I might not have gotten out for this walk to connect with the sea, the land, the sky. I'm staring at my Mount Tamalpais. She's our sleeping lady at the foot of the coastal Miwok, the caretakers of this land that I have grown up on. And just thank you for bringing us in this stunning, energetic circle.
And thank you, Alana, for being here and making it stunning and energetic. And welcome, Tony. Tony, welcome. We are recording. And Tony, we've been having a really cool meeting up until now. And with you here,
Now
it's
perfect.
Awesome. Well, I know Silas has a very busy schedule generally. And we're blessed to have you here, Silas. Do you have any updates for us? Any interesting other news? Just feel free to jump in anytime. No pressure. Just whenever is good.
No, we're good to that.
Yeah, I'm scheduled next week for lots of talks on Earth Day, including a talk at my granddaughter's school. So they've asked me to bring Vega the cow, inflate her in school, and talk about the food system. But then they said they're inviting someone else to rebut what I'm saying. Someone else to talk about the need for animal protein.
It's going to be pretty hard to say, we have to kill animals.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I'm debating how to, because they've given me half an hour. So how to present the information so that it sticks in kids' minds.
Well, I have an immediate thought, Silas.
Tell me.
Not so much specifically about how to get the information to stick, but if and you probably do this anyway because you're such a loving person, but to meditate and just bring love and project love to the person you're so-called debating, and I know your cat agrees with me, is that just to be love. And anyway, that's just a simple thought, and I think you do that anyway with everyone. But passing the feather, passing it back.
Yeah, I think the school just wants to let the children decide, as if we don't know where the truth lies. It's like and it's strange in this case. For some reason, no one wants to tell people, "Hey, this is what's real, and this is not." No one wants to do the discrimination. They want to let everybody do their own discrimination, including children.
And another thought is to see where you have common ground with this person. Obviously, this person is committed to nutrition, to children having complete full spectrum nutrition, protein and vitamin B and all that. So maybe kind of focus on, let's talk about what we can agree on, because that models bridge building, right? And bridge building to someone with whom you disagree is an extremely important skill set and modeling that we can do for not just children, but all of society. Passing the feather.
Go ahead, Sarah.
What?
I was just going to ask you, since you're bringing Vega, maybe it could just be more of like a hands-on type of a talk at the same time, because they can like be petting her and get, it might make them have that connection. And I'm sure that I think you just wrote your book, Pinky Promise. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but I was thinking maybe you could read an excerpt or have one of the kids read an excerpt from the book. Cause I always think that like, if you're with them and you're sitting with them, that they're going to connect with you rather than like lecturing them.
Right.
So I just think I'm sure that you already know all that, but I just think like if you can get the kids to be interactive with what you're doing, then that would be probably really, really, just like when you brought her to the beach, people want to see and touch her, and they don't want to just see like a show and tell thing. They want to. So I don't know if you can have her in the middle of the room and you can put the desk around her or something like that, and you can kind of bring her in like that and kind of make her seem real. Yeah.
She's outdoors. It's going to be outdoors. But I think it's outdoorsy space. So it's like there's a little I think there's a little platform on which she will be standing, and then I was thinking of having like a poster, just a poster board, and then getting the kids involved in figuring out which goes where. Some kind of interactive activity, and maybe even I'm going to ask the school if the kids can do the play, the creator play, Glenn
You
Mercer's
could
play.
also write messages to Vega, maybe like ask her questions. I think you should have them beforehand. Like if you ever wanted to ask a cow a question, and
Right.
then they have ask a question to the cow, and the cow answers.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah. Go ahead, Tammy.
Good morning, Sadash. Good morning, everyone. I really love, how you and also, many people like Will Tuttle. I love Will Tuttle's book predominantly because there's no blaming. So, and then the other thing is how easy it is. So those two pieces I really love to bring to the equation because, it's kind of dispelling people's, limited belief systems or their BS, their belief systems, like that this is such a big transition and it's so easy and so fun and so enjoyable and everyone wins and that it's nobody's fault, like that it's nobody's, we've all been kind of raised in a world where we were told that in a very hypnotic theta state for our first 7 years that this is what we needed. And so, it would be great as a presentation for the parents too, that that could be recorded somehow or filmed so that the parents could see, it's no one's fault. It's just, this is what we were told. We know that it's not true anymore. And it's really, really easy to change, So I love those pieces because when I'm working with people in my food classes, it's like, this is so fun. And like, taste how good everything tastes. And, you'll feel so much better. You just have to, if you don't have a juicer, just make a blender green juice and strain it. And you just get so hydrated in the morning and your brain works better and all of this other animal products, it just dehydrates you and then your brain doesn't work very good and it's hard on your gut and it creates bad bacteria in your gut, yeah. So I really love to bring that piece in too, just to end with this, because I'm doing a PowerPoint right now for the Climate Healers Convergence with Paige and Allison, and I'm doing the microbiome piece. So I'm actually going through my thesis again of all the plant-based studies that I've done on, the different types of bacteria that are present, that are pathogenic bacteria in flesh and secretion eating and eggs, lots and lots of eggs, versus, a whole food, especially veganic diet, and how it promotes a completely different microbiome. And that's why when people first start eating a lot of plants, they say it doesn't feel good. I'm a little bit more flatulent, my belly, and just a few tips, they eat it, they just chew more. They eat less, they need less because they're eating more nutrients. And to make some of them into liquid food, like a smoothie, and then the body will get used to it. You start to develop the microbiome that supports the breaking down of fiber as opposed to trying to digest flesh and secretions. Mm-hmm. So I love to talk about kids about kids, especially since we went from how I seen, we were just starting to get over the germ theory. We have to be afraid of all these germs, to the terrain theory, like, hey, it's not necessarily the germs that you're exposed to, it's what's the inner terrain, your flora, but also your whole microbiome. And then now it seems like after COVID, we're back to the germ theory again. And so to help people understand that, no, but if you have such a healthy gut, then you don't have to worry about germs so much. So, because even if you get one, you'll be able to fight it off easy. So anyways, I'm babbling, but I'm super excited about this because I've just been revisiting the whole gut thing again.
Thanks, Tammy. That was very helpful.
Well, it's kind of like what you said, Silash, is that, you let Kamaya teach you, and she's always joyful. And I'm like that with Hadley, like Hadley's just always smiling, always laughing, always debating veganism, because that's what, where it's like her parents aren't, she says, I'm just going to believe my dad. I said, well, you don't have to believe my dad. We'll watch a movie. Your dad, we'll just watch a movie together. We'll just look at all these strong vegans. There's lots of strong vegans. You get strong being vegan. So it's just doing it with such joy. It's so responsive for adults and for kids. I love the truth.
You could even have a picture of a gorilla next to Vega, because gorilla doesn't need to have any meat or anything like that. And it's like, if a gorilla can live, then, these little kids can, right? And this cow can. So it's like a cow and a gorilla.
Yeah.
That kind of seems right. They're both vegan, right? A cow and a gorilla. But will the gorilla eat the cow? I don't know.
Yeah.
Hope not. But I think that's a good way to prove. It's hard to teach kids. You could teach them all that stuff and they'll believe it and they'll want to go vegan. But unfortunately, if they get home, their parents might be like, not going, they want to feed them garbage. So it's how can you get, so I'll feel like, well, the cow told me to do it. And that way they can't really argue with a cow. That's why I was thinking, like, if a teacher tells them, they might not want to listen to it, but if like a cow does it, I don't know. I feel like the cow could answer a lot of questions. Anyway.
Yeah. There is a list of all the amino acids and how much is in each food. And there's a chart like that from a paper by a professor at Stanford, actually. And I was thinking of just printing that and putting it on the poster and saying, okay, label which one is beef, which one is broccoli. Can you guess, stuff like that. Go ahead, Jamin.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And just to second what Tammy was saying and add to it, you could name some, vegan Olympic athletes and say, listen, these are some people whose bodies are obviously in peak performance. Otherwise, they wouldn't get the gold medal, right? And they are completely vegan. And then another thing in terms of building bridges and showing love and generosity, I don't know if it would be appropriate to bring stew to the school, right? And let the kids try some, and even, maybe even give a refrigerated or frozen jar of stew to this person who's coming to debate or whatever, and say, here, I'd like to offer you to give this a try. And here's my card, and I'd love for you to call me and let me know what your experiences are after eating the vegan food. Just modeling that, reaching out, that generosity, etc. And I'm also reminded of the inspiring words of Harvey Milk that he would say at every speech in San Francisco. My name is Harvey Milk, and I am here to recruit you. And to be explicit, I am here to recruit each and every one of you to be part of a vegan world, right? And I respect and honor that it's your choice. And my choice is to be here to recruit you. Something, just kind of like, whoa, what? Passing the feather.
Yeah. Especially since it's Kimaya's school, there is that direct connection because the book is about her, and I'm taking 20 copies of the book to school. So it's just the day before actually the same day I'll be driving to Los Angeles so that I can be there for Vegan Earth Day March on the 22nd. The 21st time in Kimaya school.
So you're going to be at Kamaya school on Friday with Vega, and then you're going to be deflating her and then driving to LA.
Right.
Wait, are you driving to LA on Saturday morning or Friday?
No, Friday afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
because our event is so early on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, because we're setting up, I think, at like 10:30. So
Right.
we have extra volunteers because I was asking extra people to come to help with the cow, because I know that once she gets blowed up, I forgot we got to hold her down. Right?
Yeah, she has the ropes attached to her, so you can.
Yeah, I remember. Is Kamaya going to come with you?
No, unfortunately not, because I have to fly from there. So I'm just coming to Los Angeles and then going to India from there. So.
Oh my God. Are you joking me?
Yeah, I'm not joking. It's part of it's another interesting opportunity that I got to advise the Indian government. I don't know if I told you all, but they put me on a committee that's advising them on how to regenerate forests in India.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, finally, there's one foot in the door. Let's see what happens.
And they have, but the Land of Ahimsa is doing really well, right?
Yeah. The Maka Doodh is doing extremely well. Land of Ahimsa is sort of a little milder. Maka Doodh just comes right out and tells people, give up milk. And so it's a 2-hour-long documentary, but anyone who watches the documentary in India goes vegan. It's so powerful.
That's amazing.
It really dispels the myth of compassionate dairy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it completely shows what's going on behind the scenes that, it's like you say, Sailesh, like at least the meat eaters, quote unquote, are cleaning up our dairy, cows, right? It's a terrible thought, but it's there when there's no cleaning up that's going on, and it's all done behind the scenes in a very, it's very revealing. But getting back to your, the funding that they're looking for reforesting India, it's a huge amount of funding, isn't it, Sailesh? Like if you get in and being able to help them get more acquainted with the Satna forests, because that just meets, it's not just reforesting, but it's building community. It's everything, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's self-sustaining for food community for us. That would be amazing.
Yeah. So it's it is, in that sense, it's an amazing opportunity to influence $40 billion worth of allotment. It's how much the government is spending on rural schemes, several rural schemes. There's Rural Employment Guarantee Act, there is the Rural Food Scheme, and there is a rural housing scheme. So all put together, it's about $40 billion. And they're asking, so how do we deploy this better and simultaneously bring back the forests and improve rural well-being? Because 70% of Indians are still in rural areas. And, our current system is based on extracting from rural areas and then bringing it to cities and then redistributing from the cities. So by the time the rural people get it back, the price has gone up by another order of magnitude from the city prices. So the economic scheme, whatever the rural people are growing themselves is cheaper for them to use, but whatever they're not growing becomes extremely expensive. Like I know, they pay at least 10 times for spices and things that they don't grow directly in the village. Whatever they grow in the village, it's free for them. So that's the system we have. And so it's figuring out how to transition from that system to something where, their well-being is taken care of right away. In return, they're bringing back the forest. So that's the systems angle that I'm taking. Go ahead, Sarah.
I just had a question about Valalar vegans. I'm not sure the pronunciation, but have you been seeing them there? And because it looks like amazing. We kind of show that to people when we go to the farmers markets. We always show them like, oh my God, look at these people. They're feeding a whole village. And it looks like what Varun has when we went to his. And did I let you know that Varun said we could use his facility to cook if we want to on Saturdays, if we need to, going forward.
Wonderful. Yeah, in fact, the great grandson of Sage Valalar took me around in Tamil Nadu. He showed me what has been happening, with the community, and incredible. They're incredible what they're doing. I went and had lunch at their place, and it's the same place where Valalar in 1860 or something. That's when he started that. He lit a fire to cook food, and that fire has not yet gone out. So even at night, they leave a little, and then and that becomes the kindling for the next day's fire. So they've been cooking continuously and feeding people continuously. Anyone can come, sit down, and immediately gets fed. It's just amazing what they're doing. Because
do you guys still do it in Phoenix? Are you still doing the Feed Phoenix thing?
Yeah, I have to get in touch with them today and see, because apparently there was a judge who asked all the homeless people to be cleared out, houseless people to be cleared out. So there's a lot of turmoil going on in Phoenix because of that.
Okay. Do you guys have any supplies? If you want to bring them, you can donate them to us if you have any extra stuff for
Sure.
Cups or bowls or anything. I'm going to go to the 99-cent store today to get plate. I'm hopefully can get some decent feeling plates that are paper. I think it's better for us to try to just get stuff donated and buy stuff really inexpensively than spend a lot of money on these bamboo bowls.
Right.
Because it's just like Tony and I are just spending our paychecks, and it's just not working out that way. So we're just gonna try to go on a lower budget. And
yeah, let me see what I have, and I'll bring whatever I have. Okay.
That's awesome. I'm gonna go to Smart and Final today after this meeting, and I'm gonna start pandering for donations. Okay. We'll see what happens.
Thanks.
I would sure like to see if we can find a really sustainable company that we can get a contract with Climate Healers with, and any of us can order from this company under the Climate Healers organization, a nonprofit organization. That might be possible, right, Sailash? We can find somewhere, whether it's paper or whatever, that we know it's as sustainable as possible, maybe 100% recycled, and they're really thin so that it's very little waste. Because I know even these bamboo, whatever, it's really thick. I'm not really sure even how ethical they are. It'd be great if we can find a really good source, and we can all order under Climate Healers organization for a nonprofit organization discount. So let's get on that. Let's figure that piece out.
Sure.
Yeah, I talked to Julie at Julie Goes Green, and I asked her, hey, where do you get all your products? And she said she didn't want to get them from this place because you have to have big storage units to put all of the products in. That's what people are doing. They're actually buying from Alibaba. They're buying for all that. She said it's all coming from China. And she's told me that all of these restaurants in LA, they get together and they spend like thousands and thousands of dollars, and they buy like all of this stuff, and it's like pennies, and they get all of their supplies but she said she can't do it because she doesn't have a storage unit. She said that's why people have so many storage units in LA, because they're actually buying stuff and storing it for their businesses. And I thought, wow, I'm learning so much just by asking questions. So yeah, that's what she told me. And so that's why. And I said, okay, well, And she said, tell me what you need and what you're looking for, and I can see if these people that get the supplies. But I like Tammy's idea better. It seems simpler to go to one vendor and let's get a discount for a nonprofit organization. So thank you, Tammy. Because I was thinking I was going to have to start going to these storage units and like,
yeah,
you know, one of those like almost uncovering like workers inside here or something. I was going to be like a Dateline investigator or something. All of a sudden I get like thousands of cups, but then they come from like these workers that are inside these storage units or something. I don't know. I feel like they come from child labor camps, and that's why I didn't want to order them from China, is what I'm saying. So I like Tammy's idea better.
I have to go pick up my grandson from school. So take care, everyone. And I'll see you all soon.
Bye,
Great
Tammy.
to see you, Tammy sister. Come back anytime. We'll be here. And speaking of comings and goings, welcome James and welcome Guama from Baja California.
Hey all, sorry I was late, but I had a few phone calls to make, but nice to see you all back again anyway.
Hey, likewise. Welcome back. And we are recording. We've got another 10 minutes of Food Healers and Homo Ahimsa, and then we'll transition to the summary and reporting back from the Independent National Convention, where Chief Phil Lane and I were last week for 3 full days in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, I have to get going soon too, because I have to interview Ocean Robbins at 10 o'clock.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I need to prepare for that.
Cool, cool. Awesome. Well, best wishes with that and all the cool stuff you have going on, Silas.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. We'll see you next Saturday. And if you need anything, if you need any place to stay or anything, let us know. Or if you need anything, any help with anything.
Thanks, Sarah. Will do. See you then.
All righty. I think I'll pause recording and we can maybe just I'll take a few minutes break, because the next 2 hours starting at the top of the hour are going to rely intensively on me. So Marco, you going to be here to hold the fort for the next few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I missed what you were doing because I was talking to Christopher. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Here, I'll just pause recording.